everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So this is a review of the complete Predator Omnibus book, which I recently purchased. So it contains 3 different stories: Concrete Jungle, Cold War and Big Game. I've just read Concrete Jungle, so I'll be reviewing that today. I'll review these as I read them. So I've just started reading Cold War, but I've just finished Concrete Jungle, so we'll go through that today. So New York City's Detective Schaefer has seen it all, from domestic murders to drug gang executions. But Schaefer's never seen the Big Apple awash in so much blood as tonight, with flayed bodies hung like meat being cured for mealtime. When Schaefer has a close encounter with one of the murderers, he realises he's run into something much bigger than the police suspect. Can even the toughest cop stand up to the ultimate hunter? So there you go, guys. It's got the cool cover art there. It's got the Predator with like the glyphs on the helmet. The 3 firing dots. And the cool, looks like alien scratches across the bio helmet front there. Okay. So, I've recently been reviewing the Trident comics, if you've been following my channel already. So, Concrete Jungle is one of the stories that I followed in the comics. But in this review, I'm going to break down the differences between Concrete Jungle and Predator 2. So, the book has much similarities to Predator 2, the movie. Quite a few similarities, in fact. Differences in characters. In this, you have 2 characters. You have Schaefer, who's the detective in the book. He plays the character of Mike Harrigan in Predator 2. So Predator 2, you had Danny Glover, who played Mike Harrigan in the film. In the book, it's Schaefer, and that is played as Dutch's older brother from Predator. You've also, in this, you've got a character called Roush. Roush is Schaefer's partner. He is very similar to Danny from Predator 2. I'll break down the differences as we go along. You've got a captain called McComb, who is very similar to Robert Davi's character in Predator 2. And other characters in the book that we'll break down as we go along. So the differences to begin with is, like I say, it's set in, the book is set in New York, not LA. It is based on a sweltering heat. Hunters have come in a sweltering heat. The beginning of the book opens, if you haven't read it yet, you know, this is going to spoil it. So if you're going to read the book, I would suggest reading it before you watch the review, because I am going to spoil some of it. So it's down to you if you want to tune out. So the book starts, I would say, with some similarity to Predator 2. So, as you know, in Predator 2, at the very beginning, the police are having a shootout in downtown LA, aren't they, with the Colombians at that flat stroke laundry, whatever it was where they were at, where the stakeout went wrong, and motorcycle coppers got attacked, didn't they, and injured. And ended up in the middle of a war, didn't they, with the Colombians. That doesn't happen in the book. So that isn't going on in the book. However, at the beginning, the gangs are meeting up. So the 2 gangs, the street gangs, one run by a car and one by a guy called Lamb. And they're meeting up in the building, very similar to the building in Predator 2. And they're discussing how to work together to stop the incoming cartel and Jamaicans. So those gangs are mentioned, the Colombians and the Jamaicans are mentioned in the book, but they're not prominent members. So the gang members in this book are basically like street punks who are running the dope scene in New York. Schaefer and Rauschy have just been busted down from narcotics, so they're back on normal detective work. So it starts very similar. The Predator attacks the gangs in the building at the beginning. So they're not actually fighting with the police like they are in Predator 2. So it's a similar setting. The Predator attacks. You see the big blast from the wall like you do in Predator 2. And differences being is that it's a similar thing. Schaefer and Rauschy deny the commanding officer's orders and go into the building. So very similar. They don't end up in no shootout though. They end up running into Carr, who's managed to survive, and he jumps from the window to escape Schaefer and Rauschy. So that is the similarities there. As you know, in Predator 2, El Scorpio gets thrown off the roof, doesn't he? So, well, he doesn't get thrown off the roof. He gets shot off the roof by Harrigan, doesn't he? But it's because he gets scared and sees the Predator and tries to shoot, doesn't he? But yeah, so that's the differences there. Next part is very much the same. They go up into the building and they see the flayed bodies. And that's where it starts off the investigation as to what happens. Now, again, similarities to the Predator 2 and this book. McComb comes and he has to go at Schaefer and Rauschy for ignoring his orders and going into the building, because he also knows that in this, as in similar to Predator 2, there's a task force that's coming to deal with these killings by these so-called gang members. Now, the difference in Predator 2 and this book is that in this book, the leader of the task force is not a Gary Busey type of character who played Peter Keyes, didn't he, in Predator 2? And I mean, he played a great role, didn't he, as Peter Keyes? He done really well, didn't he? The character that plays that role in the book is actually General Phillips, who was played by R.G. Armstrong, wasn't he, in the original Predator movie. So he returns in the books as part of a task force that are trying to secure or capture Predator technology, or prevent humans from interfering with the Predators. Because at one point, Phillips explains that they're too technologically forward for us to deal with. We're not advanced enough to fight them. We don't want to get into a fight with them. We don't want to get into a war. So it's easier to let them come to Earth and have their fun and go. But at the same time, he's also out to see if he can get some of their equipment, or maybe form some sort of truce with them. So that's the difference with this story. So the story is that Dutch from Predator, from the original movie, disappeared. I believe it was 8 years ago or 7 years ago. He disappeared and no one's seen him since. Phillips is obviously very cagey as to where Dutch is, and he's not really mentioned other than that in this book. So that's the differences there. So as you know, in the movie, the Predator attacks the subway, doesn't he? With the gangs on the subway, with the guns. Because they're all armed, aren't they? Predator 2. That is exactly the same happens in this book. That is exactly the same thing happens in this book. They attack the subway as well. Differences in the book as well is that it attacks the police station as well. the firing range at the police station and kills a load of cops. And that's where Schaefer begins hunting it. Schaefer and Rauschy begin thinking they don't know what they're facing, but they're going after what they believe is a new player in town, just like Predator 2, wasn't it? A new player in town. Differences in this story as well is it does have the penthouse scene where in the movie Predator 2, isn't it, Danny boy goes up to the roof, doesn't he, to see what he can find, and he ignores Harrigan's orders, doesn't he, to don't go in there without him. And obviously it leads to his death, doesn't it, in Predator 2. Now, in this book, Rauschy stays downstairs and keeps watch, so he doesn't even go in the building. It's Schaefer that goes in the building. So Schaefer goes in the building to see what he can find, and he comes face to face with the hunter. And the hunter proceeds to give him a good hiding and puts a tracking device on his neck. And then in the fight, Schaefer manages to knock the Predator's mask off. He grabs it and falls out the window and ends up in hospital. But before he goes, he gives the mask to Rausch. So Rausch has got a biomask. So they've got hold of a biomask in the book. So that's one of the big differences. So Phillips tries to ward them off in the book, but he can't do it. Schaefer's too suspicious. Schaefer knows something's going on, and this is linked to his brother Dutch, which is a cool part of this book. So this book then ends up going in different angles. So Schaefer ends up going off to Latin America to try to track down the path of where Dutch went, and if there's any answers out there, which is a good part of this book as well, because it actually returns to the area where Dutch killed the original hunter. So that's a cool part of this book. There's also some cool parts of this book where Rauschy is trying to avoid Phillips's agents, because basically Phillips wants to capture Rauschy and Schaefer and put them on ice until the Predators have done what they need to do and go. He's hoping that's the way forward, but they just keep prompting it. Now, so the big difference of this book is actually the ending of the book. So in the ending of the book, the Schaefer and Rauschy are able to see that there's a large amount of Predator ships cloaked, because they can see them through the biomask. So they can see them floating all around New York. And so Schaefer ends up battling different Predators, and he ends up killing a couple of them. So as you know, when you kill a Predator, the others become very interested, don't they? Because you then become the alpha hunt, don't you? So in hunting, hunters will hunt the biggest and the baddest, won't they? So anyone that's obviously going to take out a Predator becomes the biggest and the baddest, don't they? So that is what this is set on. So in the end, Schaefer actually can't convince McComb that what's going on. McComb's not having any of it, and he's just a company man who will do whatever Phillips says. So Schaefer enlists the help of the gangs. He arms the gangs, and they end up taking on the Predators. But what happens is, because this is a good build up to the end of the book, there's open fighting in the streets with the humans gangs and the Predators, and the humans start using hydrants, fire hydrants and stuff like that. And they realise that they can expose the Predator's technology with water. And the book ends in a really good way, because the Predators all realise that it's no longer a hunt. It's just an all-out fight, and it's becoming dishonourable, because they've got quite an honour code, haven't they? And they're not here just to have a battle, an open pitch battle. So the Predators end up just packing up and leaving in the end. They take their dead, they take their technology away, and they leave. And it ends much the same, where Schaefer turns around and says, "See you again next year," because he knows that at some point they will return. So it is a good book. It's really good. It has some good scenes in it. The scenes in Latin America are good, because of the tracking device. They end up following him to Latin America, where a fight in the jungle happens, which is really cool. Very reminiscent of obviously the original Predator. There's more sort of guerrillas again in the Latin jungle, which is cool. The CIA have also followed him to find out what's going on, so that's a cool part of the story. There's a lot of investigative stuff in the book, which is good. I like trying to figure out who attacked the firing range, who attacked the trains, who attacked the people upstairs. Who are these people that are, skinning people alive, flaying people, and taking their skulls and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a good book. I would say have a read of this book, because once you've read this book, Concrete Jungle, you'll ask yourself what would have been the better movie, what would have been the better story. Now, they both have their pros and they have their cons. I really like Predator 2, and probably going to get some heat for saying this, but I think Predator 2 was excellent the way it was. I don't think it needed Arnold. I think Predator 2 came from a different angle, different story, different time frame, and it shows you that the creatures don't just hunt in the jungle, they hunt everywhere. They're hunters. And I think Danny Glover done a fantastic job. He was really good. Considering the roles that he's always played, I think he done an excellent role as the lead man. And, he deserves so much credit for that movie, because he was so credible, I found, in Predator 2. You really did think he's a tough guy, but he's you could tell how scared he was towards the end and what he was dealing with. So I really liked Predator 2. The great Bill Paxton, obviously, Ruben Blades, they're all great, aren't they? And these great 80s actors and actresses who make repeat. I mean, I like Ruben Blades. I think he's a brilliant actor, isn't he? But yeah, Gary Busey, like you say, Robert Davi, all these good characters, all made it a great film. So, yeah, getting back to what I was saying, was Concrete Jungle would have been good story, as in the beginning. Towards the end, it got a little bit crazy. It gets a little bit out of hand. I.e., the government covered it up that a Predator ship landed in the street. It was just there's a scene in the book where the Predator ship actually comes down on, I think it's like Fifth Avenue or something, and it lands, and they're all climbing out of it and just attacking everybody. Now, that's not going to be covered up by anybody, is it? By any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, so that was the only bit about the book that was a little bit weakish at the end. But other than that, it was good. It could have made a good story. It could have made a good Predator 2, I think. But did it really need, Dutch's brother to be brought into the story? Yeah, it could have been, but then it wouldn't have gone off in a different direction, would it? And had someone different and different story, a different time frame. It would have kept connecting back to the same movie, doesn't it? And really, when you think about it, the Predator connects it all back to the same movie anyway, isn't it? It's the creature, isn't it, that the film's about? It's about the hunter, isn't it? I mean, the original Predator movie was one of the original Face Your Fear movies, wasn't it? Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I.e., you can't. Where you're going to go in the jungle, you've got nowhere to go, have you? You're going to have to face it, and that's it. End of. You can't run. If you run, it's going to catch you. So yeah. So would it have made a good Predator 2? Yeah, it would have done, but I think the Predator 2 we got is just as good, and I liked it. I thought it was a brilliant movie. Yeah, so I suggest you read Concrete Jungle. It's well worth a read. It's a really good little book. It's got little bits and bobs and stories in it, and so much relatable to Predator 2. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys, of if you've read Concrete Jungle. Let me know in the comments what you think of Predator 2. Did you think it could have been a better movie, or did you like it? What could have been better about it if you thought something could be better about it? Or are you the same as me? Could Concrete Jungle, the ending wouldn't have been great for a movie? So let me know in the comments, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.